This is Alan Spay for This Day in Texas History with a review of the show Timeless that did an episode on the Alamo. So, quick little introduction of who's who. Abigail Spencer stars as Lucy Preston. She's a historian who specializes in everything, not just one area, but everything. Matt Lanter as Wyatt Logan, the special ops man. He's the muscle when they need it. Malcolm Barrett is Rufus Carlin. He's a genius who goes along with him because he knows how to control the time machine. And Goran Visnicic as Garcia Flynn, the man who steals a time machine and leads a time terrorist group. He was previously in ER if you recognize him. All right, to the episode. David Chisholm, he plays William Barrett Travis. Jeff Kober from The Walking Dead, yes, he was the head of the Claimers. He plays David Crockett. Kober is 62, Crockett was 49, so that's always they always age everyone up in the Alamo for whatever reason. Chris Browning plays Jim Bowie. Bowie was 39 at the time, and Alex Fernandez plays Santa Ana at age 49. Santa Ana was 41 at the time. Alex Fernandez is known for True Detective Season 2. Okay, so Timeless is about these scientists create a time machine, and as always, time machines go terribly bad. Terrace has taken it and gone back and is trying to change the timeline. It goes back to Abraham Lincoln's being shot, the Hindenburg going down, and in this episode, to the Battle of the Alamo. It starts off with Travis writing the letter showing what actually happened, and then how he changed it. He goes and while Travis is writing his victory or death letter, he comes up to him and shoots him, changing the timeline. So they got to try and fix it somehow. So they go back in time and try and see what they can do to try and make everything right. All right, so let's talk about what they got wrong, and they always get stuff wrong in this. Travis' letter was written on February 24th, 1836, not on March 2nd, 1836, so the victory or death letter would have already gone out. So they got their timeline wrong already. His March 3rd letter was to the Commander-in-Chief of Texas, which the letter he was writing in the episode, but they said it was the victory or death letter, but it's not. Also, they say that there's no survivors of the Alamo, assuming they're just talking about the defenders. There's 3 known survivors among the Alamo fighters, including Brigido Guerrero, who was a former Mexican soldier, and Henry Warnell. Jim Bowie was sick, according to David Crockett, by the 26th, so he would not have been able to command the Alamo when Travis gets killed. Colonel Crockett would be the next highest ranking officer. He's the only one above captain other than Bowie who would be left. Alamo had 16 captains. Featured young defender who at first I thought was William Philip King, who was the youngest defender at age 15, but it wasn't. It was supposed to be the courier, John William Smith, who was the last courier. And John William Smith is 43. The defender looked like he was 15. Kids said that Santa Ana got him last year in Behar. Killed his parents in Behar the previous year. The Alamo was the first time during the Texas Civil War that he had been there. The chapel had a roof and it was only one big room, so it looked nothing like the interior of the Alamo, and so that kind of drove me nuts. Behar is in Texas and looked like they were in New Mexico. It just did not look anything like San Antonio, and the Alamo structure had nothing to do with it. It looked like a big square more than anything else. They also said that the black men in the defending the Alamo were freemen and not slaves. There was only one free man fighting. The rest were slaves. And then there's Susanna Dickinson, and the daughter was aged up. What they got right was Crockett's sense of humor. I like the line, "Tell them I fought off 1,000 of them." That just sounds like something Crockett would have said. The flag was correct. The 1824 flag. New Orleans Grays was the only flag that people definitely know flew above the Alamo because it was captured. Weapons and costumes looked close to that period. I'm not an expert on costumes, but that was actually pretty good. All right, I like the episode. I'd never seen the show before. Fred Meade from the Lone Star chapter of the Sons of the Republic of Texas had mentioned that this was going to go out, so I went and watched it, and I like the show. I like the main actors. Even though they got a whole bunch of things wrong, they got a lot of stuff right. The tenor of the letter and how it inspired Texas to come and fight in the rest of the battles. The way that Davy Crockett just kind of had that charm. Thought the Jim Bowie character was kind of lacking, but you can't hit home on all of them. It made me interested enough to go watch the rest of the episodes of the new show. This episode actually reminded me of a Twilight Zone episode. It was called "The Seventh is Made Up of Phantoms," where the Seventh Cavalry in modern times, a tank unit, finds itself, well, at least one tank, finds itself back into Custer's last stand. They keep seeing Indian tents, arrows flying. It actually hits one of them, and so they end up in the time of Custer's last stand. Great episode of the Twilight Zone. So overall, I love the episode. I'm starting to watch the show. We'll see what else they do, but they got an interesting premise. Let's just hope they don't blow it like other time travel type of shows have. So, Alan Spada, This Day in Texas History. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'll see you tomorrow with the next This Day in Texas History. Bye.